My name is Vincent Okungu. I'm a researcher and lecturer at the University of Nairobi, Department of Public and Global Health. This is a very important funding coming at a very crucial time for Africa, Kenya, and all the other developing countries across the world. If you look at the status of research and development financing in the continent, it is very low. Africa accounts for 25% of the disease burden, but very little research output, just about 2%. It is this gap that needs to be filled, and my study is going to focus on what are the specific barriers that prevent African governments and the private sector from investing in R&D, and what are the models of financing that can be used to generate investments into R&D in the continent. The AU has said it, each country has said how important R&D is, but how are we investing in it? How, if it is that important? So this research will highlight that evidence that, well, it is important, but where are the funding for R&D? And what are our priorities that we are funding just for that ownership? This will put R&D in the list of priorities with other government priorities such as HIV, funding, malaria, and so on. So we expect policy changes that will address improved investments in R&D in the whole of Africa. What I'm expecting to see at the end of the day is there will be priority R&D projects that will appeal both to the government and the private sector. Both entities will come together to invest in these priorities, and we hope that this will have a long-term impact in terms of sustained investments in R&D. Why we should care about this study is that it's going to significantly improve investments in R&D so that Africa can define their research agenda and be able to invest in disease control and prevention. The findings can be used in publications at a local and global level. It can be used in workshops to just showcase the status of R&D, even though we have documents and we have declarations indicating how important R&D is, except that the funding doesn't go with it. So the results will be very, very crucial in showing that, well, this is where we want to go and this is where we are. So can we do more to invest in R&D and achieve the results, the economic or health outcomes that we require? So this is important in putting me out there as a researcher involved in putting this evidence out and engaging with policymakers to drive investments in R&D. We are hopeful that policymakers, the politicians, all decision makers at various levels will take up this evidence and then use it to drive investments in priority R&D across the continent.